Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Real Football Fans of New Jersey, episode 231. It is November 30th. It is our last show of November.
I think we were just saying it was the first show of November.
I know.
Like this month flew. Like November was nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It went very quick. Today is the 30th. Happy belated birthday to my co-host, Caitlin. Her birthday was yesterday on the 29th.
Thank you. Yes. Yay. It was a great day. I turned a whopping 31 years old. So we're above 30 now. But
I think it's your Jason Sehorn birthday then.
Oh, that's perfect. So I'm living my Jason Sehorn life. I feel like I identify still as 29 years old because 29 is my favorite number. So I'm just going to and that's my birthday. So I'm going to live vicariously through that. But you just listen, it's just a number. It's totally cool. Yes. I guarantee you a year from now, I will tell you that I felt the same way I did when I was 28, 29, 30, and 31. So I know you could definitely, I know you're only a year or two older, but it's still, we feel the same way. But it was a great day. So happy. Another year, another year around the sun. So very much thankful for that. So appreciate it.
Well, it is our last show of November. But it is officially our first show with my Christmas tree.
I love it. I know. I want to give a shout out to Katie because the tree looks so good. It looks so good that it looks like she has a virtual background, and it is 100% real.
I don't know why my head looks like fake. Like the background looks fake. It's not like I'm not tooting my horn on decorating sales. I'm just saying it looks like my head is like a cutout.
I think it's the white hat. You have the white t-shirt, the white chair up against the big giant green Christmas tree. I think that's and you've got the lighting in the background. But yes, I can attest for Katie that is not a virtual background. That is her Christmas tree. It looks great. Mine will be up on Sunday, hopefully. So it better be by next episode. I have my tree. I feel like I'm so behind, and it's November 30th.
Thanksgiving ended, and I ran and got mine. I got my Christmas mani today.
Oh, I've got my red nails
too. There we go. We got the red nails. We
are
ready to go. So I know this is still November, but December, we are ready for you. We are ready for tonight's episode. We have lots of good things in the world of football and housewives, but we do want to kick it off first with some questions that you guys sent in on our social media pages for us to answer on tonight's show. So let's get right into it. And the first question, looking ahead, has to do with the 2023 NFL draft.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
With as it stands today, with the current NFL draft order of being Houston, Chicago, Seattle, Detroit, and Carolina, who do you think is most likely to draft a quarterback with those first 5 spots in the draft?
So I'm going to do 2 definites here.
Okay.
Houston and Carolina are my 2 definites in this spot. And then who we got? You have Seattle,
Detroit, Chicago. Chicago only definite is a definite no because they've got just
I guess if you want to kind of play devil's advocate or look to the future with Detroit and Seattle, yes, Geno Smith is having a good year, but is he your end all be all future? If you can jump on a really good young stud in this draft, I might say yes for Seattle there. And then for Detroit, you could be in favor of Jared Goff, but, again, do you think he'll last for the next 10 seasons or so? You got to think of it like that. So I'll give you my 2 definites. I like what you said with the definite no. And then I'll give it a 50-50 for the other 2 teams.
Okay. Well, Chicago is a no with Justin Fields. I think Seattle and Detroit will 100% draft quarterbacks. I just don't think it'll be in that top 5 slot. Carolina is going to be I think we will see 2 quarterbacks go in these first 5 picks.
Okay.
Houston will take one and Carolina will take one. And so most likely, or who's like going to be the first one to do it, it's going to be Houston at the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
I felt that way when this question came in. And then I looked at 3. By the way, I have not been reading mock drafts yet, ladies.
I'm not.
Because for the first time in a long time, the Giants are winning football games.
We're good, people. We are good.
So I did pull up mock drafts after I decided it was going to be Houston for me. And sure enough, 3 mock drafts, 3 Bryce Young number 1 overall picks to the Houston Texans. So
that's okay. It's not like a team I absolutely despise. So it's like Tua going to Miami. I can enjoy and watch. Even Mac Jones in New England. I can
AFC like really doesn't.
Yeah, I can enjoy watching them. Really, the only kicker is Jalen and Philly, where I'm just killing myself week after week. So it's
okay, question number 2. What % chance do you think the Chargers have of making the playoffs? They are currently, remember, 7 teams will make it in the AFC. They're currently in 9th with a 6-5 record. New England is in 8th with a matching 6-5 record. Obviously, whatever the tiebreak is there, New England has it. And then if they want to bump somebody out right now in 7th with that last wild card spot at 7-4 is the New York Jets. So what % chance do you think the Chargers have of making it, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking at a team to bump out, it's actually in their favor that it is the New York Jets. Like they have a favorable record, obviously, and we're seeing them in playoff scenarios. But this QB conundrum is still questionable. Your offense is a little questionable. Their defense is holding them apart at this point. So I just don't know if they can hold on. But let's look at the Chargers remaining, season. They've got the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Colts, the Rams, and the Broncos. So I would say maybe they win like 50% of these games.
I was gonna say that's like 50-50. Like I hear some winnable games, and then I hear some sort of challenging games.
But like, do the Rams like surprisingly show up and play well against them? They could. Same with the Broncos. So like I'd say 50-50 like that. So % chance right this moment, and this is so painful for me because I picked the Chargers to go to the damn Super Bowl and win. I'm going to say like a 45% chance.
I'll throw them in at 50%.
Okay.
I kind of like New England or the Chargers to jump the Jets.
I do like that. I think that is very favorable for both teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it 50 because I feel like there's a 50% chance it could be the Patriots that jump into that last spot, and it could be them. So I'll give it a 50%. I would really have to dissect the remaining schedules more, but I feel comfortable at 50.
Yeah, and I was really just looking at the Chargers on that one. I did not. I don't know who the Patriots have left. They probably have. I would say. I mean, basing off the NFL, they probably have 2 or 3 division games left.
So it'd be really tough for them.
Yes, because that division is really killing each other physically this year. So.
Yeah. All right, and then last but not least, this is also a question looking into the future. I guess all 3 of ours were. Which head coach do you think is most on the hot seat right now to be fired?
Ooh, okay. So we were looking at the head coaches earlier, looking at these guys. I mean, I'm going to pull out the first year coaches. I know, I probably would maybe pick one if I didn't do this. I'm going to go with Arizona Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury. So he was hired in 2019. His current record right now is 28 wins, 32 losses. You're pretty even, but I guess my argument is how much that team gets hyped up over and over again. Everyone hypes up Kyler Murray, but then they shit on Kyler Murray because they don't think he has the right mindset, has the right attitude. He's not studying the playbook. But then you bring in guys like DeAndre Hopkins, and then you have a guy like James Conner who comes in, does really well, gets hurt, but now he's back and kind of doing things. But like they're not winning games week over week like the hype should be. And does that come down to coaching? It actually might well come down to coaching and what is going on between, the star players, like your captain, so to say, and your head coach. I just don't know if the Giants can let go of coaches year after year and finally find their guy. Maybe some other teams have to pick up on this phenomenon of like 2 years, you're out of here. So.
And the thing with Cliff Kingsbury is like weird freaking hire to begin with. Okay, you're pulling him from college. He didn't have a winning record in college. He lost his college, coaching.
Right.
And then people are like, ooh, like, look at this hire, because that was the whole era of like, which is still kind
young
of
people.
like, let's get the next Sean McVay.
Right.
And like,
Sean McVay might be on the hot seat for all I guess.
It was a weird hire to begin with.
Yes.
Like they were trying to like be cool and like have the sexy hire, but like it really isn't panning out. So
no. Look at it.
I have 3 names, and I will give you my number 1 overall. But I have a feeling we could see all 3 of these guys go once the season is over. And one really, really pains me to throw into the mix. But I'm going to go with Atlanta's Arthur Smith. He's been there 2 seasons, got a 12-17 record. But we'll see. We'll see on that. I am going to throw a first-year head coach in there and say Denver's Nathaniel Hackett. I just don't think that hire is panning out whatsoever. We've obviously seen the massive disappointment that the Denver Broncos have been. I know a lot of his play calling has been very questionable throughout the season, and it wouldn't surprise me, considering some of the other guys who were one and done, if he will fall into this mix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my recommendation, he's got to either give up play calling or they're going to get rid of him, I think, at the end of the season. So, but I did not, put the first years in.
The last one really, really pains me, and I don't want to see it happen.
Oh, no. Who is it?
And the only reason he would keep his job at this point is because he's such a player's coach and the guys like really freaking love him. But I have to throw in Detroit's Dan Campbell.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I know. But he's got a 7-20-1 record there.
That's awful. That's so bad.
It's really hard to make a case for somebody.
Wait, when did they hire him? In 2020? Is this his second year?
Third year? Yeah, this is his 3rd season. And it's just so hard to like.
Okay.
Like, that's why I'm saying
that sucks.
Make a case for him just because of how much the players love and respect him.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we always say, and they always say, it's a business. And what they care about is like not whether they like you or not, but whether you're actually producing wins. So that one pains me to say it, but I got to throw his name in the mix. But I'm going to tell you, I think my number 1 is going to Nathaniel Hackett. I really do. So I'm going with the one and done.
Things aren't good in Denver, so I feel you on that one.
Yep.
All righty. Some really good questions. And like Katie said, look into the future. And we will be looking to the future for the remainder of the episode. Not for everything, but we're going to look into some playoff scenarios. We're doing our week 13 thoughts and things like that. But obviously, if you are watching live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter right now, go ahead and engage with us. If you have questions, shoot them in. If you have commentary, we'll be sure to banter back with you guys. So again, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter. So let's go ahead and get into our quick, we have NFL quick hot topics for you as we go into our big stories of the week for football. So let's, I'm going to rattle them off here for you guys. We got a lot. So let me clear my throat. All right, so week 13, Katie, we already have playoff clinching scenarios coming at us, which I don't know how, because we just started the season yesterday. It feels like, but it's already cold and I'm already wearing my winter hat. Which I just got this for my birthday, by the way. Birthday wear. So Philadelphia will clinch a playoff berth with a win. All right. A Washington loss, Seattle loss, and San Francisco loss.
That's a lot of moving pieces. Our other playoff clinching scenario is much more beautiful than that.
So that's a lot. So break out your pens and paper, people. So that was that, or press rewind if you're listening to us on replay. All right. Minnesota will clinch the NFC North title with a win, a Detroit loss. So that's it.
That's it.
All right. So, but other things can happen. We may not have a clinch. We don't know. So, but there is a scenario for the NFC North, for the NFC, for clinching here. So let's look into it.
Yeah.
All right. We got an injury roundup. Buffalo, this is pretty tough here, but actually this one's a little interesting. So linebacker Von Miller is believed to have sprained his knee and will miss time. Katie, I don't know if you saw the reports from this, but he obviously left the game. And then the next day, we have things come out that he tore his ACL. Confident, it's from Adam Schefter, it's from Ian Rappaport, it's everyone. Moments later, it's like oh shit, like he did not, like no one panic, like he'll be okay. He's getting like a second and third opinion. And now we're in this mode of like it's sprained, but we don't know how much time. So I don't know. I feel like we're in this moment, like I feel like they're hiding something from us. Like, listen, if he tore it, he tore it.
I feel like you don't need a second opinion on a torn ACL. I'm pretty sure they figure that out on the first opinion.
People figure that out, Katie, when they go out in the first half and go to the locker room. Yeah. Like that, it's so that's why I said they're hiding something from us. Like, I don't know. So this is another tough one. Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Allen Robinson will require season-ending foot surgery. You know, tough for them, but I just, for just a team that's not doing so great, I thought the move for him going to the Rams, like I didn't think he was going to see much playing time, but they're not doing that great as a team.
Like Matthew Stafford's been out. Cooper Kupp, I don't know if Cooper Kupp is coming back this season. So I really don't. Allen Robinson out now. Like it's a mess in Los Angeles. So
yeah. Tampa Bay right tackle Tristan Wirfs expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury.
This is the worst one, I think. Like, I mean, 3 to 4 weeks. Some of these ones we're going to read are like season ending, but oh my God, that's a huge loss for Tampa Bay. Tristan Wirfs is an amazing offensive lineman.
Yeah. So, and then we got Aaron Rodgers. He left the game on Sunday night with a rib injury, and he is going to go through further evaluation. My thought here, Katie, is that they run the rest of the season with Jordan Love. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You got nothing to lose, in my opinion. I mean, you're losing games regardless.
I think Aaron Rodgers is. I think he's playing this weekend. Because I also think this might, I've been saying it this whole time. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire after the season.
Right.
So if that's true and that's how he feels, he's going to want to finish out this season.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll figure it out. Obviously, further evaluation. And then this gives me the chills, Katie. Philadelphia safety CJ Gardner-Johnson is out indefinitely after suffering a lacerated kidney. Like,
that sounds like life-threatening.
It does. And like you think of like your internal organs, like when you think of a laceration, you think of someone like cutting you, things like that. Like, how do you do that during football? Like that just like kills me. Like that, oh my God.
And I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if that's life-threatening.
No.
Sounds pretty damn serious.
Yeah, can guarantee Katie and I are not doctors, but it does not sound good. So if any doctors are watching, please let us know.
Yes.
All right, so we've got some college coaching news. Stanford head coach David Shaw stepping down after 12 seasons with the team after they closed out their season on Saturday with a 35-26 loss to BYU. He still leaves Stanford as the winningest head coach in school history with a 96-54 record. Ex-Carolina head coach Matt Rule has agreed to become the next head coach at Nebraska. The Cornhuskers have fired head coach Scott Frost after their 1-2 start this season. And then before Carolina, Rule was the head coach at Baylor. And
is going to coach, like get a college coaching job again.
Yeah. I mean, just like, so like, I think it's funny. So he apparently he's got like 40 million like guaranteed, I think, from the Panthers, but that would now get like subtracted if he got a new job. Like for me, Katie, I would just sit on that 40 million for as much as I could. Like, I don't know. Like that's just like what I'm saying. But yeah. So just saying. But and then quickly here too, I know this was actually rumbling all week, but the whole like Lane Kiffin drama llama of him going to Auburn, but he's staying at Ole Miss, so everyone can shut up about that. That was probably the most.
Where Lane Kiffin is now?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't know college football.
Well, the drama was that he was going to Auburn, but he is not going to. Yes, he is the head coach of Ole Miss.
Okay, just checking. I don't watch college football. but I didn't realize he was
Yes.
at Ole Miss.
But the drama that he was going to Auburn, and obviously it was the Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn this weekend. So it was around the SEC, big dramas. But no, he is staying. I think they actually extended his contract. So no worries, people. He's another like floater, I feel, so in college football. But
well, we've got college conference championship games this weekend, and obviously bowl games will be coming up, and then the college football playoffs. So that's coming. College football will be coming to a wrap.
I think we find out the playoffs tomorrow night.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I think we do. And guess what? Shockingly enough, Alabama has a chance. I don't know how.
I don't know how either.
It's like from Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. That's literally what it is. I think as you go into these week 12 thoughts, I think it might be tomorrow.
Okay. So week 12 thoughts for the NFL this past weekend. In what looked like to be heading into an overtime game on Thanksgiving, Buffalo drove down the field and kicker Tyler Bass kicked a game-winning 45-yard field goal to beat Detroit 28-25 with like seconds left. Like when I say they drove down the field, they only had seconds to drive down the field. I want to say it was like 20, 30 seconds. I'll be honest, like I was watching the game cast, like not the actual visual, but just on my phone because I was driving to my Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
And I saw that Detroit had tied it up 25-25 and that there was only like 20 or 30 seconds left. And I was like, ooh, well, that could be enough for Buffalo. And before I knew it, I like refreshed my phone. I was like, they freaking won. So, Kate, I know that was your upset pick, and that was it. It was a nail biter. That was very close.
Right? Like literally,
It was very, very close. A 3-yard touchdown by running back Nick Chubb with 19 seconds left gave Cleveland a 23-17 overtime win over Tampa Bay. That was a close one as well. With Zach Wilson out, New York Jets quarterback Mike White threw for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns to beat Chicago 31-10. They did not have Justin Fields. They were playing against Trevor Siemian. And more quarterback swapping with Sam Darnold now in at quarterback. He led Carolina to a 23-10 win over Denver. That's how bad things are for Denver right now. Like, honestly, come on.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, they upset Baltimore 28-27 on a late touchdown and then decided to go for 2 to get the win, and they did it. So it worked out. It panned out. My upset pick. That was a phenomenal game with a great finish.
Yeah, it was a gritty finish. Good for Doug Peterson going for 2 in the last, it's
great.
Yeah. They're not a great football team, but they showed some grit there. So that was an exciting one to watch.
That was very exciting. And then also just as exciting, the Chargers scored a late touchdown. They decided to go for 2 as well, ended up getting it and beating Arizona 25-24. Let's talk about the fantasy football performance of the weekend. An 86-yard walk-off touchdown by running back Josh Jacobs gave Las Vegas a 40-34 overtime win over Seattle. He had 303 total yards of.
Katie, you're sleeping on him. This
is what happens. I shit talk people and then they do good. I should just like shit talk the Giants the rest of the season.
No, don't. You'll jinx us. You could do it for other people. That's fine. But if you find that it's like a true trend, maybe you can like do that for a living. You can like, hey, like I found that I shit talk you and you do better. Pay me $8 million.
I should shit talk all the people I have on my fantasy football team.
I mean, you can give me some of that too. I need a little bit of that.
And then San Fran with a shutout, 13-0 win over the Saints. I did text Caitlin over the weekend. I think the Saints are one of the poorest offensive teams in the league this year. I don't know what's going on with them. And you know what? I did have Taysom Hill for a little while. I ended up dropping him, but the frustration was, why is this team not using him? I'm not saying playing him at quarterback. I'm not. But he's a weapon. He's a weapon that teams have such a difficult time game planning for. And it drove me nuts. And I was able to track it because, like I said, he was on my team for a bit. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is he in for 6 snaps out of the entire freaking game? So New Orleans, it's not looking too good over there. The defense, I'll give it to you. The offense, no bueno. So that was week 12. That was a crazy, crazy week 12. We say it every week. I know. We had 2 overtimes, 2 going for 2-point conversions to win it. Like, come on.
A ton of missed field goals. Let's talk about that too, and extra points. People were missing kicks these days too. Like it is it was another crazy week. And for the week to start on Thanksgiving with 3 games back to back, the Giants and Cowboys game was the most watched primetime game in like NFL history on Thanksgiving. Wow. Not on Thanksgiving, like in all of primetime. Yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense. It was the 4:00 slate, the 4:30 slate.
Put it on with, dinner's going, you put it on in the background.
Either dinner's going, you just finished dinner, you're having dessert on the couch. It's the Giants and the Cowboys. They're both good seasons. Like it pretty much, and I hope though that a lot of people did tune in to the 12 o'clock game because it was a they
were great. All three
were.
There were no blowouts. Like you're so used to watching Detroit like a lot of years, and they always play on Thanksgiving, and usually they get blown out. All 3 games were good, and we had very, very tight games throughout the entire weekend. So week 12 was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Not really in our favor.
Not the Giants, but
no, that's what I was going to say. By the time it got to the night game on Thanksgiving, I was not happy.
Not happy at all.
I was footballed out because I was in a bad mood. But it's okay. New week. Speaking of new week, we are going to give you our week 13 picks plus 1 lock and 1 upset. Katie and I were talking before the show. What a weekend this is going to be.
Hardest time I've had all season making picks. I don't feel like there were many clear-cut choices here.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those for me. I told you guys I go and like paint and like highlight them. That's my my technical on the back end here. I literally open it up and whatever it's called, like Microsoft Paint. But it was one of those where I just had to highlight it and move on, not second guess myself, not because I would have been sitting in front of the computer screen for probably an hour or two being like, well, I could back and forth. With that being said, though, Katie, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your week 13 picks?
All right. I feel like we could end up having a lot of different ones since it's so close. But
let's see.
Week 13, I am taking Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Minnesota. I'm going to shit talk the Giants. I'm taking Washington.
Wow, Katie. Wow.
Listen, Washington is trending up and we are trending down.
For like 1 week. Relax. Whatever. 2 weeks. Yeah, but that wasn't
Washington. Honestly, I'm like, it pains me to say it. Washington has looked very good as of late.
Fine.
Washington, Tennessee, Baltimore, Cleveland, Seattle, San Fran, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Dallas, and Tampa Bay. My lock is going to be the Dallas Cowboys over the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
I know you might be mad at me. I hope you like my upset. I am going with the Titans over the Eagles.
Okay. Well, Katie, we had, I'm counting on my fingers, 8 similar.
Okay. And Arizona and Carolina, by the way, are on the bye. So
yes.
You got 2 teams on the bye.
Yes. Good point out. All right. So my week starting with Thursday night, tomorrow night, December 1st. How is it December 1st? I'm going with Buffalo. Moving into Sunday, I have Pittsburgh, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, the New York Giants, Tennessee, Baltimore, Cleveland, Seattle, Miami, Cincinnati, the Chargers, Dallas, and wrapping up on Monday night with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, a lot different.
That was 8, right? I think I counted 8.
Well, no, so it's
only 8 similar. 8 similar.
Whenever
sorry.
you say what we have similar, it's easier for me to count on my fingers ones we have different. So we have 7. We have 7 different. That is a lot. That is a lot.
So my lock is Baltimore over Denver.
Okay.
And my upset is the Titans over the Eagles.
I didn't even notice. I can't believe I actually didn't notice because I was like, I had to count 7 on my fingers. I didn't even notice.
That's why I thought it was funny when you said that it was your upset. And I was like,
that is really funny. I was too busy counting on my fingers.
Listen, don't sleep on the Titans. Like they were sleep.
You know what? I told you that I like to make my picks, and then I go to John Breach, Pete Prisco on CBS, and then I like to look at Sporting News. Those are the 3 ones I like to see who they're making their picks. And I don't remember who it was that was talking about the Tennessee Philly game, and they took Tennessee to win it. And I'm like, all right, I want to know why, because I'm considering them as one of my upsets. And they were just saying that that Philly does not do good on the run defense, so you don't want to go up against Derrick Henry if that's the case. And then on the other hand, Philly has been like dominant in the run game, whether it's with Jalen Hurts or their backs. And Tennessee, on the other hand, has a phenomenal run defense. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're able to shut that part down of Philly's offense and then exploit Philly's defense with Derrick Henry. And once I read that, I was like, okay, all right, I like it. I like it. I'm going with it. So.
Well, you got to look at Philly too. Even when they can't get the run going, Jalen Hurts runs it himself. So, and he runs it. I'm not comparing him to Derrick Henry in any way, shape, or form, but Jalen Hurts runs the ball like a goddamn running back.
I would say that he is their most dangerous rusher on that.
And
team.
they can, then they've got that defense, they could shut that down. And when you shut that down in Philly, that's actually pretty terrifying for that Eagles team if you shut him out of that game. So
if it doesn't happen, I still think this is going to be a close game. And Philly's been playing some close games lately. So
they have been.
I feel like, okay, when are they going to slip up? Which one are they going to slip on?
And they have.
They have. They're not undefeated anymore, but it's like you feel like maybe they might slip up on like 1 or 2 more this season. And this could be one of them.
Agreed.
All right, let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of housewives. Yes, this is quick hot topics, but we got a lot of them. Let's just boom, boom, boom. Over the weekend, Real Houses of Atlanta's Portia Williams got married to Simone Wobadia. The 2 were married in a traditional Nigerian native law and custom ceremony on Friday, and then had an American wedding on Saturday with 350 guests, including Atlanta's Kim Zolciak, Monyetta Shaw, Candy Burris, Drew Sidora, and Cynthia Bailey. I saw the pictures from this wedding.
What a wedding.
She looked stunning. The dresses. I saw 2 different dresses.
Yes.
I'm immediately thinking she wore this red gown that red's not my color. I can't pull off red. But holy crap, she looked incredible. So
awesome pictures. They both, I do love that they did both cultures. Like I love, when you're a multicultural relationship and you bring in both. I love that so much. And they both pictures, from both events looked so incredible. So incredible.
Yes. So congrats. Portia. And this past week, Andy Cohen made the official announcement that Real Houses of Beverly Hills has been put on pause. That's like such a kiss
good
statement now. Good. Hear that from Bravo or Andy, you're like, oh shit.
I'm happy.
So he confirmed that they are on pause. Filming for the 13th season will likely not start until well into 2023. He also mentioned that there could be tweaks to the cast. I think he was talking about he wants the cast to stay as is, but he also wants the people that really do want to do it and want to be there. Because I know he was asked about Kathy Hilton, and as much as he wants everybody to stay, Kathy has made it clear she will not return for season 13 if Lisa and Erica are back. So that's kind of sounding like if that's true, we're going to be missing out on Kathy. Last Wednesday, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's Jen Shaw's legal team requested that her December 15th sentencing, which is so crazy, like it's being pushed out until early 23. This could have been happening in 2 weeks from now. Like,
I know.
it's so crazy.
I was ready.
This request has been granted. My assumption is like they will probably like let her spend the holidays with her family. That's going to be my.
But then why schedule? Why? I'm
don't know.
not a legal person. I'm not.
This is honestly like how court cases like work. This happens all the time, not just with celebrities, but I just feel like in general. She will now be sentenced on January 6th, and I know like we were almost 2 weeks away from it, but we're gonna blink and it's gonna be January 6th.
They're probably gonna push it again. Honestly, I'll put money on that right now. Pushed again.
I think at some point too, like you know you're gonna serve time, like just
go.
Like then it just is like like you can't keep like preparing yourself, emotionally preparing yourself to do it, and then it gets pushed, and then it gets pushed. So the sentencing was previously on November 28th. That would have been 2 days ago, and then it got pushed to December 15th. As a reminder to you all of what she is facing, her plea deal, she does have a plea deal, still means she could face up to 168 months, which is 14 years in prison. Now, Caitlin and I do not watch Chris Lee Knows Best, okay, people? But I do know that they were just, the husband and wife were just sentenced to prison for fraud. And I don't remember off the top of my head.
Isn't it like 15 years? I think it's like
it's a long.
Yeah. I think it is like 15 years.
I think it's like somewhere from 10 to 15.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. I mean, we look at the situation of what happened with Teresa and Joe, and I remember when that went down, we were all, oh my God, like that's so much. Mike, the situation from Jersey Shore, like, oh my God, that's so much. But in reality, they got anywhere from like 1 to 4 years. Like, this is like 10 to 15.
And for all three of these parties, they're older. They're in like their 50s, maybe Jen Shaw's a little like late 40s, 50s, I think the 60s. 15 years, that's a lifetime. Katie, if we went to prison right now for 15 years, we'd be in our 40s. That is a lifetime away. That is a lifetime away.
Listen, Jen Shaw pleaded guilty. She finally admitted to being guilty.
Right.
I believe that obviously if you're guilty, you need to do your time.
Right.
I think 14 years sounds and would be very severe. And I'm not Jen Shaw's biggest fan, and I'm not a fan of what she did, obviously. But I am hoping for her family's sake that it is not anywhere close to that number, but prepare for it.
Yeah.
All of us prepare to hear some shocking shit. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, it just goes back to your statement earlier. Just stop putting it off. It's 14 years, Katie, means no different today or 6 months from now.
I also don't condone doing any of these illegal activities, obviously, period. But like, don't go on reality television.
Don't.
Just don't.
Like if you're going to be a fraudster, like be like one of those creepy people like on the dark web that's a fraudster. Like don't get caught.
If you're doing that shit, like, you don't want people to see the money that you have. And that's what the Real Housewives is. Going on and showing everybody your cars and your clothes and your houses and the trips you take. Like, it's just the dumbest thing ever.
Yes, you get put underneath like a magnifying glass, and people are going to look into you. They're going to understand. And then someone's probably going to speak up and be like, hey, like I had a shitty situation with that person. And guess what? In their situations, that shitty part ties back to money, and it's fraud for the both of them. Like, it's not good. Like, don't be a criminal, people.
January 6th, we will be here for you guys. We will have to, I don't know what day of the week it is, but we'll be, glued to our phones.
I don't know. I think they're going to change it again.
January 6th, it's a Friday. We'll see. We'll see.
You know, it's funny. I think they're going to change it because wasn't January 6th was that wild shit last year. That like the protests at the White House. That was like that whole like thing. They're going to find something and change it. So it's the 1 year anniversary. They're going to change it. I know they will. Watch, because that's going to be trending. That's going to be what's going on. They're going 100%. Yep. You can always find a loophole. See, I just found the loophole. That's it. That's the one. All right, let's go ahead and get into our game tonight. We are playing the Trust Fall. I don't know if you've ever Trust Falled, Katie, but it's like the most.
Girl, I went to sleepaway camp.
Oh, you
Trust Fall.
Katie Trust Falled at sleepaway. The ongoing joke of mine and Katie's 30+ year friendship is that every time she says she's done something or has gone somewhere, I go, oh, did you do that sleepaway? Or when she got older, she went on teen tours. And I go, oh,
listen, a lot of cool life moments.
You did. You lived your life, that both of them, like honestly, but it's the ongoing joke. Anytime she's done something in her life, I'm like, oh, that's sleepaway. So it's no surprise to me that you were trust fallen at sleepaway camp. So we're gonna trust fall with the NFL right now. So on Monday, Jim Trotter wrote an article for NFL.com breaking down the current division leaders into trust tiers. And out of the 8 teams, he broke down who he trusts a lot, a little, and not at all. So we're going to give you Jim's answers, and then we're going to give you our own. So again, we're in a trust area, and it's a lot, a little, and not at all. Mm-hmm. So Katie, let's go with, let's do all of ours together.
Yeah.
So we'll go Jim, you, me, and we'll go from a lot, a little to not at all. So, and we do have, and I want to remind the audience of who our division leaders are real quick. Yes. So with the NFC South, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The AFC South, you have Tennessee Titans. And then the AFC West, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. And then also in the AFC East, I'm going all over the place. Sorry, you have Miami Dolphins. AFC North, you have the Baltimore Ravens. In the NFC North, you have the Minnesota Vikings. In the NFC East, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. And in the NFC West, you have the San Francisco 49ers. So those are your 8 division leaders right now. So let's start with who we trust a lot.
Okay.
Jim's list is the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you trust a lot?
I have 3 teams.
Okay.
I have tiny little blips, little snippets for all these teams. So I'll give my picks and my reasons why.
All right.
No particular order. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC North. So despite their collapse against Dallas, their record is far too ahead of anyone else in their division to let the NFC North title slip. They're 9-2, and Detroit in second place is 4-7. And like we just said earlier in the show about those playoff clinching scenarios, they can clinch the division title this weekend with just a win and a Detroit loss. So I do trust Minnesota.
Okay.
And by the way, I looked at it as like, who do I trust to still finish as the division leader by like the end of the season? That's how
I kind of just like trust them as a team in general. That's how I took it.
I did it as like, do I trust them to still be in first, like at the end?
Okay. Well, keep that in mind, people. We did a little differently, but it's not that massive different.
I have Kansas City in the AFC West. I still feel like they're one of the very few overall trustworthy teams this season, and they have a 3-game lead over the second place Chargers. And last but not least, I'm going to go with San Fran in the NFC West. So I didn't think I would put them here since they're only 1 game ahead of Seattle. But San Fran is 4-0 in their division right now. And it honestly wouldn't shock me if they complete the 6-0 division sweep with a game versus Seattle and Arizona left. And plus, I don't like Seattle's remaining schedule of the Rams, Carolina, San Fran, Kansas City, the Jets, and the Rams. So I'm trusting San Fran.
All right. So the 3 teams that I trust a lot, I am going with Miami, Kansas City, and Philadelphia here. Right. So I definitely get what you're saying with Minnesota. And I respect the fact, looking at it from like a division standing currently, I think they will run with the division. I think when I'm looking at it like full trust, like, yeah, Dallas sucked, but Katie, other teams they're playing them pretty close. And I'm coming to a point, but I guess I can make the same argument for Philly too, but we just haven't seen that massive downfall from Philly like that Dallas Minnesota game. So if I see that, I can easily change my mind there. But I got to go with these three teams here.
I like your list in the way of how you thought about it, just in the grand scheme of things. Like,
right.
I agree with how you went about it as well.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so let's go to a little, and to make things a little more fun here, we'll actually also give a team to think that they might give a run for their money. So we'll say the leader who we trust a little, and someone who might come nipping at their toes a little bit. Mm-hmm. We obviously don't have this from Jim, but we'll give you his list. So Jim said that he trusts Miami and Tennessee a little. So Katie, who are you trusting a little, and who do you think might nip at their toes a bit?
I got 3 teams here. So in no particular order, I'm going to start with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. I mean, everybody in this division is playing well right now. So I still think Philly has a chance of finishing with a 2-game lead over Dallas. That is who I think would be their biggest contender in the division. But Dallas's schedule the rest of the way is Indy, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Washington, and Philly, which I think is a very favorable schedule compared to what Philly has. So I think if anybody is going to nip at their heels, it's going to be Dallas. I have Tennessee in the AFC South. If Tennessee didn't already have a 3-game lead in the division, then they would be on my not at all list.
Right.
And I'm going to say something, and I don't think you're going to agree with me, but I'm going to say it, and this would be my team that's going to nip at their heels. Do not sleep on Jacksonville.
You know what? I don't disagree with you on that one.
So I have them finishing 1 game behind Tennessee, and their remaining schedule has winnable games against Detroit, the Jets, Houston, and then they also play Tennessee twice. They haven't played each other yet.
Right.
And that could honestly determine it all in that division. So Tennessee has built such a big lead. And yet here I am being like, Jacksonville could kind of come out of nowhere and get in the mix.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I'm going with Miami in the AFC East. I put, could Miami win it? Yes. Have they looked scarier and more trustworthy over Buffalo lately? Yes. But I still have Buffalo winning this division by 1 game.
All right. Cool. Well, I have 4 teams here. I'm going with Baltimore, Tennessee, Minnesota, and the 49ers. So we swapped a little bit from trust to that. So let's talk about, who might nip a little bit here.
Yeah.
So when I'm thinking of Baltimore, I'm thinking of the Cincinnati Bengals right away. Off to a rough start. If they didn't have that rough start, Katie, I think they would be light years ahead of the Ravens right now. Yeah. We're seeing the Ravens come down to, we see that loss last week to Jacksonville, but they're in it. They're in a lot of games. So if that continues, that might hurt them. So, and then you got the Bengals that are fighting too, and they're coming up with some W's. So that's the one I think out of all these 4 teams that I just listed have the real true someone coming at them. So definitely. All right, so let's go. I had also said Tennessee. Katie, I like your Jacksonville pick here to come to them. I really do. I mean, listen, the Colts are on, you want to call it like a baby W. Sure. I don't know. I don't see much more. So I'm going to agree with you. I think it's Jacksonville coming after them. So
Jacksonville is definitely the better team over the Colts, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we'll definitely see over the coming weeks for sure.
Yep.
All righty. And then Minnesota, I mean, just looking at it kind of holistically, I like how the Lions have been playing. I think, they 100% could have won that Thanksgiving game. I think my only problem with that loss on Thanksgiving, Katie, was that kind of shows where they were last year, where they were just nothing was, no W's were coming to them because they just kept losing at the end. So I don't want to see that for them for the rest of the season, because that will just end they're already 4-7. How much worse could the rest of the season go for them? And if that's how it is, it could. So they really have to start making wins. But out of all of them, I don't see much from the Bears or the Packers for the rest of the season. So, and then finally, I put the 49ers, the Seahawks, a very impressive season so far. So we'll see if they can take it to the rest. Do I think it's totally realistic for them to take it from them? No, I'm not going to say that, but they could, they could make the last week of the season interesting.
Yes.
They could be one of those teams that everyone's tuned in on to see, did they make it in? Did someone make it in? Things like that. So
right.
The Seahawks will be making or breaking hearts at the end of the season. So
I can see that. Yep.
All righty. So let's move into no trust at all. So Jim got a little fun here with 3 teams he does not trust at all: the Baltimore Ravens, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're going to have a little fun of our own here as well. For any team that we don't trust at all, we're going to say who we actually will think will win the division. So Katie, who do you not trust at all?
I've got 2 of Jim's 3 teams.
Okay.
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. So despite having Tom Brady, this has to be the team that you trust the least, I think, out of all of the division leaders right now. They're the only division leader without an above 500 record, and Atlanta's 5-7 record is on the heels of their 5-6 record. You know what? When we were answering about coaches on the hot seat before, if Atlanta could take the division title away from Tampa Bay, I think maybe Arthur Smith might be able to keep his job.
Be safe. Yep, I agree.
Yep. But that's who's contending with Tampa Bay right now. And then I have Baltimore in the AFC North. So they're only one of 2 division leaders to actually have a matching record with the second place team in their division. They have a matching record with the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I have both them and Cincinnati finishing with 10-7 records. Baltimore still has 4 division games left this season, and they're not winning their games by large margins. I feel like they've been very wishy-washy. Mm-hmm. There are games that they should win that they're not. They make me nervous, and honestly, I feel like Cincinnati had that slow start, and they've been on the up and up, and I feel like they could definitely take the title away from Baltimore.
All right. Well, we all have one in the same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are the only one on my list that I do not trust at all. And I'm going to agree it's just the second runner-up at this point that the Falcons can take it from them at this point. So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Interesting, though. Very interesting. I want to say we're so far in 13 weeks, but there's so much more football we have to play. And it's been a weird season. I think we're going to see a lot of shifts over the coming weeks. And it's what we're looking at now might not be what we had predicted. So
yeah, and week 17 could be real interesting with playoff scenarios. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, it is that point in the night where we get it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, life, wine, Christmas. Whatever you feel like talking about. Caitlin, why don't you get it off your chest first?
All right. So I want to extend, while I am in all Giants gear, I'm turning on my Alabama hat, and I want to give all of my thankfulness, all of my gratitude, everything, to Bryce Young, quarterback at Alabama. It is very much so. He is going on to the NFL and the NFL draft. And it seems that he has played his last home game at Bryant-Denny Stadium this past weekend in the Iron Bowl with a huge win over Auburn after what has been a very shaky season for the Crimson Tide. I just want to give a massive shout out to him and thank him formally on this show. I absolutely love Bryce Young, and him coming in, with the long line of, you look at the long line of quarterbacks we had with Tua, with Jalen, with Mac Jones, Bryce Young had shoes to fill, national champion shoes to fill. So I'm sad that he wasn't a starting quarterback as a national champion. I think he deserves that. He is a Heisman winner, though. He absolutely deserved that last year. I wished so much more for him as the quarterback that he was. I mean, Katie, alone this season, he's 3,000 plus yards, 27 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, only 12 interceptions on his career. He is a talented quarterback. He's got upwards of 8,000 yards, like well over like a bazillion touchdowns. I mean, it's like, well, I'm looking at these numbers right now. I think it's like 80, 90 plus touchdowns in a short career for him because he's behind these other guys. So he starts 2 seasons for the Crimson Tide. And he is one, Katie, you are going to love watching him play in the NFL and I hope that his play fully transfers over. He is one of the most cool, calm, and collective quarterbacks I've seen in the pocket, but he can also take it himself. He's one of those, we're seeing that. And yes, we see that in the NFL a lot. So I look at Tua, I look at Jalen Hurts. Mac Jones is getting there a little bit. He's still much a statue, but you see that breed of quarterback to where they're calm, but they run it themselves. I mean, I think a lot of Jalen Hurts' success this season is him just taking it and moving it forward. I love when Daniel Jones does it. I always call Daniel, I'll do it myself, Jones. That's what he does. Bryce Young has that mentality, but you never see the frustration. You never see any, when he's down, he had an injury this season that sidelined him. Unfortunately, the game that I got to see in person, he didn't play that game, and that broke my heart so much. But I do an awesome player to watch. So talented, so smart. These players, they love football and you can see it, but it's so hard to come by a really knowledgeable and smart player these days.
Football IQ is almost just as important as their skill set. Oh. It is part of their skill set.
Right.
It's a huge part of their skill set.
And he is just so smart, and you can see it in every step motion that he takes. So I was definitely very sentimental this past weekend when the game was over. He's walking off. Well, it's the entrance onto the field and it's the leaving of the field where it's his last, and he's waving, he's stopping, he's taking it in. So it's not the last that we're seeing of Bryce Young. I wish him everything. There is still, I don't know how there's a hell of a chance that Alabama can make it into the college football playoff, but there is. We're ranked 6th, and there's a chance that we can be one of those 4 teams. I don't know how. And it's also not tomorrow night. I think it's next Thursday. But that they'll announce it. But yes, so there is a chance. I don't know how. If we're somehow in it, I hope that he gets to ride off into the sunset as a national champion, as a starting quarterback. But yes, I want to thank you, Bryce Young, so much. You were a great quarterback for Alabama, and I'm really, really going to miss you. So thank you.
Well, you guys know I'm not a college football watcher, but I'm definitely excited to learn more about Bryce Young, during the NFL Combine and the NFL Draft, and of course, seeing him as an NFL quarterback. So I'm looking forward to it. Although I do not watch college football, I do really enjoy learning about the players when all that process goes down. So I know he's a stud. I know he's a guy everybody's got their eyes on. So I'm excited to see him.
You'll like him.
Speaking of quarterbacks, though, I'm going to talk some shit on our little brother, the New York Jets, and specifically their fans.
Oh, she's getting it. She's starting.
She's starting. So, Jets fan, you might want to click out of this now. But anyways, they're just so predictable. And when they decided that they were not going to start Zach Wilson over the weekend and they were going to go with Mike White, I knew exactly what was going to play out. I knew before the game, we knew Justin Fields was not playing. And then minutes before the game, we found out of was it going to be Trevor Siemian or Nathan Peterman?
Yeah.
Kind of got a little bit banged up during the warm up. It ends up being Trevor Siemian. Okay. Even if Justin Fields had played, like this is not a good Chicago Bears team.
No.
I knew that the Jets were going to come in. They were going to win. They had the potential to win big. But what I knew in my heart was that Mike White was going to come out and like have this monster game. I literally called it like before the game even started. And that Jets fans were immediately going to be like, Mike White's our quarterback. And like, sure enough, the game ended. And like anybody that I follow on Instagram that is a Jets fan was all loving
Right.
Mike White. It's like they were obsessed with Zach Wilson 5 seconds ago, especially when they, have been just like the Giants have been winning a lot more games than anybody expected. Everybody was all about the Jets, all about Zach Wilson. Y'all freaking loved it when he banged his friend's mom. So like you thought he was like a god. Right. And then they decide that they're not going with him. And I knew it. I knew Mike White was going to come in and have a stellar game. And they were immediately going to jump on the Mike White bandwagon. Right. I even saw a Jets fan in one of my fantasy leagues, like pick up Mike White on waivers this week. Like, come on, dude. Like, honestly, like Jets fans, I just want to tell you, you will always be the little brother, by the way. Always, no matter what. It is not MetLife Stadium, in my opinion. It is still Giants Stadium. You'll always be the little brother. And Jets fans, you're so freaking predictable. Like, honestly. And Mike White will like have a good game, and then like the next bad game they have, they'll be crying to bring Zach Wilson back. So I'm not here for it, Jets fans. You're lame. I don't dig ya. And honestly, I'm glad that the Giants, like as tough as things have ever been, like with Daniel Jones throughout, like, his seasons, I'm glad that they never, I also wasn't a fan of the Jets making the move to take Zach Wilson out because it just ruins the trajectory of like why you drafted him in the first place, which was to be your franchise quarterback. And so I'm glad that the Giants never did that with Daniel Jones because all it does is make things an insane mess of a situation. So
it's embarrassing.
Good luck handling it the rest of the way. Don't know what to tell you.
Hey, Katie, you're 100% correct. And listen, I think we're going to see some deja vu. Mike White played last year and had a really good game. And guess what happened? And then he sucked. Royally sucked. The fact that he's still on the New York Jets from how bad he played last year is mind-boggling to me. So have your fun. You had your fun this past weekend. He's going to come out again and probably suck. And guess what? You're all going to turn back to Zach Wilson. You're going to want Joe Flacco to play. I'm out of here for it. It's a messy situation. I agree with you 100%. I'm so happy the Giants have never turned to that shit, that wonky shit, whatever. It's embarrassing. Nope. You don't need that.
Yep.
Alrighty, so as we end our episode today, there's some things that you don't want to miss. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City took a break last week. They are back on is Wednesday at 9 p.m. Real Housewives of Potomac is on Sundays at 8 p.m. NFL Week 13, your primetime games. Thursday Night Football is Buffalo at New England. Sunday Night Football is Indianapolis at Dallas. And Monday Night Football, we have the New Orleans Saints against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. College football conference championship games. And a lot of these are very telling for who will be picked in the playoffs. So that's why I know I said earlier, I thought it was tomorrow night, but now it makes more sense that it is next Thursday, I think. So, because actually a lot of this, the reason why Alabama might come into the picture is because
there's a big one in this list.
All right, so you have number 6 USC versus number 14 Utah. That is your Pac-12 championship. That's on Friday. On Saturday, you have number 4 TCU versus number 12 Kansas. That is your Big 12 championship.
Caitlin's going to be a big Kansas fan there.
I know. Big time. I need all these upsets to happen. And I actually probably need this. Actually, I don't need this one to happen. But the SEC championship, unfortunately, it's been a while, but Alabama's not in it. Number Georgia is taking on number 5 LSU.
You're definitely a Georgia fan in that.
I'm a Georgia fan. Yep. Because they're number 1. Just keep them there. It's fine. You've got your American Conference Championship, so the ACC. You've got number 19 Tulane versus number 22 UCF. And then you've got 8 Clemson versus 17 UNC. Oh, that is the ACC. My apologies. The ACC Championship is Clemson and UNC. So We got a lot of games, a lot of telling things here. And again, anything could happen. The reason why Alabama's still in the picture is because of what happened last weekend. A lot of upsets, things that weren't supposed to happen in Alabama's favor. So I swear, listen, I'm not expecting it. If it happens, though, I know the world.
Nice surprise.
It'll be a pleasant surprise, Katie, but the world is going to like, oh, of course, Alabama. So I'll take it, whatever. They probably won't do well if they go into the playoff, but it's on the table, which I did not expect at all. So
yeah.
All right. Well, with that, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of The Real Football Fans of New Jersey. The next time we see you is going to be December.
I want to see that Christmas tree in your background.
It'll be up. I think Sunday.
Okay.
All right. I'm hoping for good weather. So Sunday, grab the tree, come home. So I'm feeling it. I started listening to Christmas music, like I said, the Saturday after. It's back. So
love it.
Don't worry. But yes, with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time. Good night.
Good night.